to see you. We're just talking about what we're doing this evening. This is Dream Whiskies. It's our December broadcast, and as you will find out later on in the broadcast, it's not our only December broadcast. But here we are on the 2nd. It's 7 o'clock here in the UK. We haven't been with you for about, what is it, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
A month.
A month, yes. So good to see you. Got lots lined up for you this evening, and some really good cocktails. We got some great stories to share with you. Obviously, going to tell you about our prize winners for that, and we got some whiskey related stuff to chat about. Whole load of stuff going on for you guys this evening. The other thing that I'm just going to point out for those of you that are regulars is that you might see that we've got a kind of different angle here on the bar, on the camera. So what we've done is, if you saw any of our last couple of broadcasts, you will know that we had problems with the internal camera that we use. So we've now plugged in a webcam. So it's sitting higher at a different angle, but it's wider, so it gets both of us in. I don't know. Do you like it? Hopefully you like it. Anyway, before we start with our usual start to the evening, in other words, start with a drink. Let's see who is saying hello to us already. Hi, Paul. Paul Slade is there. Good to see you. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Paul.
Cat Jam, hi everyone. How you doing? Avril, second half of Old Fashioned on the go. Wow, second half.
Already
into it. What time did you start that Old Fashioned, Avril? Bob Robertson, good to see you. Adrian Bain, hi Paul and all. Aerolite Lindsay, 10-year-old Isla. Good, sounding good. What have you got on the go?
I have a spicy rum and coke.
Spicy rum and coke. And I have this. So I haven't used this glass for a little while. You may remember that we gave these away. Not these ones, but we gave these away. This is the Northern Whiskey glass. I thought I'd bring it out again for Christmas and put something in it. Who else is joining us? Dave Chilton, happy lockdown, everyone.
We're out of lockdown.
We're out of lockdown.
Happy tear.
Yeah, exactly. Happy tear, which is happy tears to everyone. So we're out of lockdown. Just for most of us, we haven't really noticed the difference. That's pretty good. That's a good one. Gary, how you doing? All good on the Shivers Regal 12. Kaz, thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Kieran, how you doing as well? Avril says she started her Old Fashioned half an hour ago. Bruce, hi all here today, working the graveyard shift later. Well, at least you are with us, which is fantastic.
Hi,
Carl,
guys.
how are you doing? Cardew on the go. And we know Paul, of course, is drinking a Maker's Mark tonight. And if you looked at our Facebook page earlier today, I shared a picture that Paul sent through to us of his Maker's Mark in a kind of Christmas jumper. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, Paul, you've taken the jumper off and opened up the bottle. Anyway, I've got Ben Riach, haven't I?
Yes.
Yes. Just checking what we got in here.
That's what I poured in. Yeah, the 10-year-old.
The 10-year-old. So we've got the Ben Riach 10. Let's pop that in there. Obviously, we're going to use this for our cocktails as well this evening. Bruce, what's going on? Having an old fashioned with Buffalo Trace bourbon. Nice one, Bruce. Dave, what are you saying? You lucky poo. Tier 3 here. Sorry, Dave. Really sorry. We're in Tier 2 where we are, but you know what? It's let's hope this is the beginning of the end of this. Looking positive today. I think the news saying that we've got the vaccines on the go.
On its way.
I'm hoping that we're all going to be just in a few months' time looking back at this and saying, great, we are all out. But hey. Paul Marston, evening. Good to be back after missing the last couple of broadcasts. What you on? A Deanston Virgin Oak. That sounds nice as well. Kevin McLean. Hi, Paul Driscoll. Wow. That's probably somebody else you know, I'm thinking. But saying hi to, I think so. But hi to Paul Driscoll. And hi, Kevin, how are you doing? And replying to Kevin, sorry, also filled a different Paul. Okay. That's good. That's all good. That's all good. So cheers.
Cheers. Happy December.
Yeah, happy December. So, and cheers to you all. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to make an announcement up front, just in case those of you who only stick with us for a little while. I want to make sure you pick this up. I better do this first of all.
Nice. Can I try?
Of course. Always surprises me. This glass actually is really quite effective. While Cheryl's trying that out, just to let you know, we are going to do a second broadcast in December. So December the 23rd? Is that right?
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Where are we? Today, 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd.
23rd.
So December the 23rd, we are going to do our almost Christmas Eve broadcast. We're going to get right into Christmas, but not right on top of it, so that you can still join us. We'll do a special Christmas broadcast. Christmas Eve. Yeah, Eve. Christmas Eve we're going to do for you. So 23rd, put it in your diary, join us. We're going to have some fun. We'll do some slightly different stuff there as well. But make sure you just make a note of that. Luca, how are you as well? Hi all, good to see you. Good to see you. Right, where should we start? Let's start by telling you what we have lined up for you this evening. So in a second I'm going to tell you who won our whiskey competition last night, and also whiskey competition from 2 weeks ago. I think you're up to date before then. Remember, if you ever want to know who the winners are, just hit the website. All the winners are there, so you can keep up to date with that if you miss it. We've got some stories. So you may remember that last time we did the broadcast, Sheryl said, "Got any good whiskey related stories?"
Oh, yeah, that was God, was that a month
Yeah,
ago? Wow.
That was a month ago.
Goodness.
So quite a lot of you have sent in some really good stories. I even put up a little prize. So the best story is going to get a book, and it's called Whiskey, Wit and Wisdom. So it's a book of funny whiskey related stories, so appropriate really. So the best one, and we were going to judge it, but I've changed that, and I'll explain that in a second. But we got a few stories for you from you guys. We've got 3 whiskey-based cocktails which have a slight leaning towards Christmas in their style. And then I've got a couple of subjects that I'm going to chat to Sheryl about, like we did last time, but also chat to you guys about, so we want you to get involved, give us your opinion and all that as well. Who's that? Adrian Bain. Those glasses are effective for the nose, but feel too light.
They are light.
Actually, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
they feel like if you give them a bit of a squeeze, they're just going to pop.
They feel like polystyrene.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no weight to them at all.
I have to admit, the first time I picked one of these up, I was really surprised with the weight. Good point, Adrian, because it's not just about the nose, it's about how a glass feels in the hand. You know, you've got a great whiskey, you want it in a great glass. Anyway, I do have this on the go. So, right, let's start with our winner of last night's whiskey competition, or rather last week's whiskey competition, which ended last night. And really pleased to say that actually since we went membership, which was back in February, I think we've had 1 or 2 maximum ladies win. So now we've got a third one. Cool. So the winner is Laura Cushley. Laura, I actually don't even know whether you watched the broadcast live, but you've been with us for ages. So congratulations, Laura. Well done. You'll be picking a whiskey from our Whiskey Prize Library. Fantastic. Spot prizes are whiskey Christmas cake. So I'm going to announce the last 2 weeks of those. So last week's winner was Dave Chilton. Dave, you're often with us, so hopefully, well done. You're going to have a nice whiskey Christmas cake on us.
A few.
Yeah, he's won a few bits and pieces. He's quite good on the old bonus prize, spot prize one. And Simon Roberts. Simon, congratulations, well done. You won it yesterday as well. So you're both going to get Christmas cakes for that. So what do you reckon? What would you rather, the whiskey or the whiskey Christmas cake?
Depends on the value.
I mean, it depends on the value. Right. I mean, that says it all. Am I right? That says it all. It depends on the value. Do I prefer or no? It depends on the value. We're going to talk about value, actually, in a second. I'm going to bring that up as a subject. But we have these stories. So just to remind you, last time we broadcast, Sheryl said, I think you got me to tell a whiskey-related story, and then you said to...
a drunken whiskey-related story.
So mine was drunken, and we expanded it slightly and said, look, if you've got any good whiskey-related stories, send them in. We'll pick the best ones. I'll read them out tonight, and then we will choose our favourite, and they will win that prize, that book that I told you about. I've changed that slightly. What I've done is I've picked 3 or 4 to share with you guys, but we're actually going to give, because a lot of you spent quite a bit of time writing down your stories. There's some really funny ones, there's some really actually just fascinating ones in there. So we're going to change the way we do it. As from tomorrow, I'm going to post a new story up on our Facebook page, and I'm going to ask you guys to vote. And you can vote every day, and you can vote for more than one, but the one that gets the most votes will win. Okay, so just keep tagging them if you like the stories. But I'm going to share a few with you, and I thought I'd share one from Paul Slade. Paul, I know you're out there. So, yeah, I'm going to share one from you. Lots of congratulations going on here. Oh, Dave, you're there. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Love whiskey cake. Fantastic. Really pleased that you are there. Paul is saying congrats to the cake whiskey winners, or the cake winners. Yummy.
Nice.
So, Paul, this is one of your stories. So, Paul Slade, if you're a regular, you'll see him posting up on our broadcast all the time. And he posts bits and pieces on the Facebook page as well. Been with us right from the beginning. Paul used to be in the Navy, Royal Navy.
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
because your dad.
Yeah.
So Paul sent me 3 different stories. I picked one of them actually because this one just made me laugh. And anyway, so I'm going to read it. These are Paul's words. This is Paul's story. So he said this. Remember, Royal Navy. So one time, after a really good evening ashore in Weymouth, I went back to my ship in Portland, got into my hammock, and promptly fell into a heavy sleep. Next morning, I woke up on the deck floor having fallen out of my hammock, which apparently, falling out of a hammock is allegedly next to impossible, and found half of both his front teeth missing. So apparently what he'd done is he'd fallen out and hit his mouth on a solid metal container that's shaped like a rectangular bucket, and in Navy slang, is called a fanny. He's put here, you can imagine the fun my shipmates had with that, but I just love the idea that Paul broke his 2 front teeth on a fanny. So congratulations, good start, nice story, Paul, liking that one. I'll also put that up on the Facebook page as well, and if you like it, vote for it. But how about that? It's a kind of a claim to fame.
Yeah, it is. That's quite cool. That's
Thank you
great.
for that.
I just realised you were chatting there.
What's that?
I didn't realise that your T-shirt had your year of birth on.
What's on here?
Yeah.
What's it
I
say?
didn't realise, since 1955.
Oh, hilarious! Have you been waiting to just pop that in? Hilarious! Thank you very much. We're only 1 year apart, by the way, so...
Yeah, but I look much better.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so that's our first story. You know who the prize winners are. So I've got 3 cocktails for you as ever. And the first one, let me just put this one to the side. Just pop
Do you want me
this
to look
in.
up that for you?
Oh, I
As
don't
I'm here?
know. Okay, as you're here.
Trust me?
Slightly. The first one
It's my iPad.
is oh my God, getting possessive over the iPad. That's what happens, right? Going to start taking her toys away. So we're calling this a cherry bomb. And I created this drink, well,
You called it a fanny bomb.
well, for Paul. I don't even think that's relevant.
I think it is.
Yeah, but what's in it?
Yeah, but,
Yeah,
but
so-
it is relevant.
Just say.
It works. It
Does
still
it?
works.
Well, because of
What
Paul.
do you guys think? Cherry bomb or fanny bomb?
Right.
It
so,
works.
So the reason why I'm calling it a cherry bomb is that it has 3 lots of different cherry flavours in it. I actually created it for Sheryl because she loves cherry flavour, which many of you know, and it's got that really sort of Christmas
Right,
feel to it.
I'm gonna guess that our American visitors would get what I'm saying.
A fanny bomb.
Yeah, call it a fanny bomb because
That-
it's got a lot of cherries
That
in
means fanny, doesn't it?
it. No, our American guests will know exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, so while our American guests are working out exactly what Sheryl means, and you can translate it for me, let me make this drink for. Okay, what have we got here? Jeff, oh hi, Jeff is there. Good to see you, and your better half. That's how it is, right? That is how it is. That is how it is. So we're going to start obviously with our whiskey. So get our measure. As you know, I've got this Benriach 10-year-old. I'm going to put 25 ml of our whiskey in there. So let's get that measured out. There we are, and into our shaker. So now I'm going to start adding the different types of cherry. The first one I've got is a traditional cherry brandy, red in colour. You like the aroma of this one, don't you?
I love anything cherry flavoured.
So cherry brandy, it's sort of rich, deep flavour, good colour on the eye, but actually doesn't mix very red, as you'll see when this is over. So I put 25 ml of the cherry brandy. Now I'm lifting that
Hang on, I
with
need
some
my
more
glasses.
cherry. What is this?
I think we've got something interesting.
Cherry Bomb. The Runaways, Cherry Bomb.
Runaway.
Is that a song? It's going to be a song, I'm
Yeah, I
guessing.
think so. Yeah.
Okay, we'll check that out. We will check that out
Yeah.
later on, and of course anybody else can check that out whenever they want. Second ingredient is this. This is maraschino liqueur. So it's a cherry liqueur, not unlike the cherry brandy, but using maraschino cherries. Slightly different fragrance to this one.
Can barely smell that one.
But lots of, can you not pick it up?
Not really.
I think this is more almost marzipan-y in a strange way. And I'm going to put 20 ml, so slightly less of the maraschino liqueur.
There we go. I get an actual cherry in this as well.
Would I dare?
Would
Otherwise.
give you an actual cherry.
Then I'm going to add, what I've got in here is some cherry juice, but I'm not sure if you can see from the, I have to tip it, there you go. You can see it's actually the colour of apple juice. So a lot of people assume that cherry juice is going to be red, but actually it's not. If you think about the flesh of a cherry, it's not red, the skin's red, but the flesh is not. And so that's why it's more apple juice colour. And again, I'm going to go for just over a shot. So this is 25 ml. And then just a little bit more. There we go. So 30 in all. Let's pop that down there. And then the final ingredient that I'm going to add is some ice cream. And actually all of our drinks in one way or another this evening are going to be kind of creamy. Make it more, I don't know, after dinner style, that kind of Christmassy indulgence and dessert. And I've got a scoop of vanilla ice cream in here. So I'm just going to tip that in. There we go. That's good. And then I'm going to add some ice, because when we shake this up, the whole thing will break down. But add some ice to my shaker.
I'm looking forward to this one.
I think you're going to like this one. I think this one is right up your street. Let's get that in there. Give it a tap down, and then we're going to give it a good shake. So cherry bomb. All right. That looks good. And you see, rather than this being red, it's kind of pinky. Take our strainer, strain into...
Do you know what we've forgotten again?
What have we forgotten?
Our favourite glasses.
Oh, we have. Do you want to go and...
Should I go and grab one for the
get
next
one
drink?
for the third drink,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
Right, Cheryl's going to go and grab a glass that we're going to use. Did we not use it last time?
No, we didn't. We showed it, but we didn't use it.
Okay. You could bring in the shaker if you want as well. So there we go. Pink in colour. As you know, if we're going to garnish it, especially having got instructions from the boss, from my better half, as Jeff put it, I'm just going to take maraschino cherry. Let's pop that on there. There we go. And I think we'll just leave that on the side. Actually, let's put it on the side like that. There we are.
We did use it.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, no, we did use it. Yeah, I've just remembered as I've got it out.
I think we're both a little bit drunk on the night and forgotten all about it.
I think I'm having a senior moment.
So there we go. Now normally I can get this closer into the camera, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift it up for you there. And this is our cherry bomb, cherry in flavour, really light, creamy, light pink blush colour, but very deep and rich on the cherry flavours. So
lovely.
There we go. You need to tell us what you think about that.
My chair just made a very strange.
Yeah, I heard that noise.
It was.
I was wondering if that was your chair.
It definitely was.
Or something else.
I'll show you again deliberately.
Okay. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. I wouldn't be doing that.
Sounds like a cow.
It does sound like.
When you were a kid, you had those things that turned.
Oh yeah.
They go.
Yeah. What were they called?
Like a moo.
Yeah, a moo thing.
Moo
So tell us what you think of that. Right. What else we got here? Jonathan's joined us. Good evening, Jonathan. Good to see you. Paul's replying to blog featuring Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. Okay. You know what? I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy. Interestingly.
But there's a certain song in that one. I think. Cherry bomb.
Cherry bomb. Yeah, that's what that's what they're saying. Yeah. So what do we think?
I'll tell you.
It's looking nice. I actually like the colour. You can't really pick the colour up so well on the camera.
Yeah, I can't really taste the cherry.
Oh, you can't?
No, I'll
be
honest.
So subtle cherry. Shall I have a little taste? Tell you if I can taste it?
I think it's overpowered by the whiskey. I think the whiskey might have overpowered it. I'll be honest.
Do you have to be honest?
I'm not going to lie. Why would I lie?
Yeah, but why would you lie?
Why would I
Why
lie?
would you need to say, I'm not going to lie?
Well,
yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. It's light. It's subtle. It's actually much more subtle than perhaps I imagined.
Considering you did 3 different types of cherry,
I don't even think it's the whiskey that's overpowering it. I think it's probably just the ice cream.
It's nice.
The vanilla. No, it's a gorgeous drink, but I know what you mean about it. Anyway, look, if you like this drink, give it a go. I would guess that if you want to lift the cherry a bit more, then, I don't know, maybe more cherry, less whiskey, or maybe less ice cream. That's generally what we do. We tend to create a cocktail and then just mess around with it until we hit the button with it.
I'm sure Bruce
Bruce will.
Bruce could produce the perfect cherry.
Bruce, you got to work on that one for us, wherever you are. Bruce is there. Bruce is there somewhere. There's no doubt about that. All right. Okay, so let's move on. So before we go on to the next story, and I quite like the next story actually. Next story is by Karen Barrett. By the way, Karen, if you're there, it's by you. So I'm going to be sharing your story next. Bruce is saying add more juice. Yeah, you could add more juice.
Yeah, but the juice wasn't.
Juice was light as well.
The juice. Was
they were all light flavours, so it wasn't. It was quite a light cherry juice, that one. Before we do, I want to pose this question to everybody. Okay, I was reading an article today, coming up to Christmas, and of course, it was it was about trying to recommend whiskies, and it was 10 best whiskies under £50, right? The 10 best whiskies under £50. And I looked through it, and there was some there that I was interested in, some that I thought, I don't know how you got in the list, but that was just my opinion. But the interesting thing is that £50 is an interesting ceiling for picking a great whiskey.
It's a lot of money.
Well, it's a lot of money, but whiskies are a lot of money. If you want to have a 10-year-old single malt, you're going to be anywhere between £35 and £45, depending on what it is. So it's quite pricey anyway to buy whiskey now. The prices have gone up. I would say to you, what do you reckon yours is? I mean, not that what do you reckon, but if you had 50 quid and we said, right, get the best bottle of whiskey for you, what would it be? Put it in the comments, let us know. And while you're thinking about it, or while you're sharing that with us, what about you? What is yours? Because you're not really a whiskey drinker, so, but you buy a lot for me.
And you said to me,
you have to buy whiskey.
You have to buy,
Yeah. But you'd be off 50 quid, I know. Right, Bruce is going, sure. Paul, what is it? Is it still a cocktail if it's hot? Yeah, absolutely. I asked because I was given a recipe at work which used heated coconut cream milk. Yeah, absolutely. Hot cocktail, warm cocktails, yeah, for sure. Bruce, I use my frozen homegrown cherries. Trees all died, but I have a lot frozen. Now that actually sounds interesting. If you actually blend some cherries in there, that makes sense. I like the sound of that. Yeah, okay, so what whiskey would you go for? Would you go for anything on that?
Do you remember when we went to Scotland and the first distillery we went to was Glenkinchie? Can you get that under £50?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you would,
because I quite like that, like the lightness of a Glenkinchie, and rather than the peatiness of an Islay or whatever.
Yeah. I know you don't like the Islay whiskies very much, do you?
No,
which is why I buy lots of them to stop her stealing them. Really,
I'm sure that if
we got here. Bob's going knock and do 12, but you could get 2 bottles of Glenmorangie. Well, I guess you could get 2 bottles of Glenmorangie at Christmas when they're on offer. Because otherwise they're about 35 quid, aren't they?
Tullibardine.
Yeah, well, I know that we're all quite fans of Tullibardine, aren't we? And actually Tullibardine's reasonably priced compared to a lot of them.
On offer, you can pick them up for under £50.
Kieran's gone for a Kilkerran 8-year-old sherry cask. So Kilkerran, I've been to Kilkerran actually, and I picked up. I can't even remember the whiskey I picked up. Yeah, and I can't remember which whiskey I picked up from there, but gorgeous. Really, really loved that one. Adrian, what's that? Anok Peat Heart. So Anok Peat Heart. We got an Anok here, but not a Peat Heart. Gary's going for a Redbreast 12. Loving the Redbreast actually. I've noticed the prices though. The Redbreast going through the roof. I think their 15-year-old is £65. It's expensive now. By the way, if you're in the States, let's call it $60. Okay? Best whiskey under $60 in the States, best whiskey under £50 in the UK. John,
just out of interest, have you opened that bottle of whiskey that I bought you for your birthday?
No.
No?
No.
I was just wondering.
No, it's still sitting there.
Is that the one there?
It's this one here.
The Hibiki.
Yeah. Cheryl bought me a nice bottle of Hibiki for my birthday, which at the moment...
That wasn't under £50.
No, it wasn't under £50, but it's still staying shut at the moment. Jonathan, where are you going? Biased towards Islay malt, so under 50 quid, a Lefroy 10. Actually, a lot of people, if they're into that sort of... I got a great story of Lefroy to share with you later as well. Lefroy people love the Lefroy 10. The cask strength 10-year-old, mind you, that's a bit pricey. It can be very pricey, actually. Paul, what are you saying? Bruce, £50 and we'll get you 2 bottles of Buffalo Trace bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
But is that what you would buy, Bruce? If you had £50, would you buy 2 bottles of Buffalo Trace as your best purchase? Or would you buy 1 bottle of something else? Paul, probably go for a Talisker or Oban, a sherry cask whiskey, and I'm hedging my bets. Not a Jura for Paul, no? No Juras for you? I know you're a Jura fan. John, never had a bad bottle of Juras. My wife enjoys the Russell's Reserve. That sounds good. We got a Juras on the go here that we cracked a little while ago, and that's actually a nice drop. What else we got? Dave, Bunnahabhain 12. It's not like the other Isle of Whiskies, as it's unpeated. In fact, another David Rose, who won our whiskey competition last week, he chose a bottle of Bunnahabhain 18, which I think is arriving with him tonight. Paul saying, or a Jura. And Kat and Aaron Tenure. So lots of different whiskies. I haven't even picked mine.
Yeah, I know.
I have to be honest. And loads of people, I call them whiskey snobs actually, but loads of people just poo-poo this because of the idea that it's the overpriced stuff. But I just really love a Macallan. So I would probably squeeze that 50 as far up as I could to get
get a little Macallan.
Yeah, get a nice Macallan. Yeah, for sure. Although you're kind of stuck because it is very pricey. I mean, overpriced compared to others. Although I wouldn't mind a bottle of 1926 for 1.5 million quid.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's what he got at auction, the 1926.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep looking at your suggestions in there. Jess put a Bavani 12 Doublewood for about $55, or Mills and Mash Bourbon for 20. Right, 3 of those to go with 2 of Bruce's bourbons as well. All right. Let me give you guys another story. So this is from Karen Barrett. So when you've sent me very long stories, I've tried to just sort of shorten them down without taking away anything that you guys are talking about. This is quite a funny story, but I just wanted to share it with you. So this was Karen's whiskey-related story. So they had very good, long-standing friends, married couple who used to visit and stay over for the occasional weekend. So they used to let them stay in their bedroom, and they would move, this is Karen and her husband, into the spare bedroom.
Okay,
which is very kind of them, wasn't it? Anyway, so they had a particularly heavy night, loads of booze, etc. They all toddled off to bed. The guests went into their bedroom. Karen and her husband went into the... Do you know what's coming?
I got a feeling I can see what's going to happen.
Okay, so middle of the night...
Because it's something I would do.
Yeah, it's exactly what you would do. So middle of the night, Karen's husband gets up.
Oh, it's the husband.
Yes. Husband gets up, goes to the bathroom, does what he needs to do, then returns, still all over the place, middle of the night, asleep, still drunk, and goes back to his bedroom, gets into his bed, snuggles up, fortunately, with his friend.
Did he put his arm?
With the guy, apparently kissed him on the shoulder. So this guy's friend was saying, this guy's wife was saying to him, "Look, can you just move over?" And he said, let me just quote. He said, "No, I can't. Kevin's in bed with us." Apparently, very luckily, he woke up, got his way back. Absolutely mortified, apparently. Never been allowed to forget the incident. Sadly, the friends are no longer with us, but they still, it brings a smile to their face. Hilarious. Love that story. I'm actually wondering how, I think so. I'm wondering how many people have had something similar. I mean, I don't think Cheryl's done it, but I just know it's the sort of thing that she could do. So very easily the sort of thing that she could do. Right.
Jumping in front of a car thinking it's your daughter.
Yeah, we had that yesterday. We were walking down the street. Cheryl jumped in front of a car to say hi to her daughter, and of course it wasn't her daughter at all. She just jumped in the road in front of a car. Okay, what else we got here? John Lux. My favourite would be the Glenmorangie Quinta Reuben. Yeah, I like that one actually. I haven't had a bottle of that for a long time, but I do like it. Either a Dalwhinnie 15, this is for Paul Masson, or a Lagavulin 16. Actually, you know what? I've got a bottle of Lagavulin 16 sitting up there, untouched. It's been on my shelf for ages.
Yeah. Must be worth something now.
Paul likes Karen's story. Yeah, I love that story. Joe, how you doing? Sorry I'm late. Enjoying, no problem. Having a Weymouth Velvet Fig 25.
Ooh.
Wow.
Let me get my glasses. Let me read that.
Yeah, what is that? A Weymouth Velvet Fig 25.
Sounds like a liqueur.
Well, tell me more, Joe. Tell me more about that because I don't know what it is. Let me know what that is. All right, let's move on to another cocktail. Do you want me to move this?
Yeah, you can drink that one.
Should I just pop that over there for a second?
Yeah, feel free.
That's good. Let's do this. What we got coming up next? All right. So this one is not dissimilar to something we've done before, but I wanted to make the most of an ingredient, if you like, that Sheryl has purchased in the last week. I call this a Nespresso Yourself, and it's kind of based on an espresso martini, but obviously this has got whiskey in it, and it's a longer drink, and it's got other ingredients in it. But instead of just using a regular espresso, Sheryl decided to go out and buy the most ridiculous amount of new Nespresso. If you've got an espresso machine,
but there was a free gift.
Right. So you know these pods, the pods that you get for your coffee. So she bought. I mean, honestly, the guy arrived at our front door with this box.
There you go.
I had no idea what was being delivered, but it was big enough to have a small car in it. So it turns out it's full of coffee, and in there were these pods. She bought all the coffee, so she got something like £5,000 worth of coffee to get a free mug worth £3 or something like that. Not £5,000, but here you go.
It's handy when we're out of lockdown and we can actually go on holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
And travel.
So one of them was this one, and this is pecan biscotti flavour.
They're really nice.
They're absolutely gorgeous. And so I decided that I wanted to use one of these in a cocktail, and that's what I do. So what I've got here, at kind of espresso strength, so I've got about 50 ml of it in here, is one of these pods. So really intense pecan biscotti flavour.
Did you even know how to use my machine to make it a smaller version than a large version?
Yes, is the answer to that. Okay, so let me hand that over to you.
Put those away?
Yes, please. That would be very nice. So again, start with our cocktail shaker, and we'll start with our whiskey as ever. And remember, this Ben Riach that I'm using is not one of their peated ones, so I don't recommend a peated whiskey for these drinks unless you just love that peat coming through pretty much everything that you drink, and then then it's up to you. But this is their regular 10-year-old, so I'm going 25 ml. That's good. Now we're going to add the flavours that you will be to some degree familiar with. The first one is this. We got a brown creme de cacao. A lot of people are confused about the flavours of creme de cacao. It's not coffee, it's a chocolate flavoured liqueur, but it's chocolate and vanilla, so there is vanilla in there as well, which goes particularly well with this cocktail. And I'm putting 20 ml of that. So let's get that just up to the 20 ml spot. There we go, that's nice. And so that we know works because we've used that before in ingredients. Now I'm going to add some coffee liqueur. And I'm in the middle actually of a project where I find myself in the last week or so picking up this coffee liqueur. It's not one that I used before. We haven't had it actually before, have we?
I have.
When did you have this?
Last night. I had a glass of it.
Right before.
It's really nice.
Before last night. So Fair Cafe. And it's handcrafted in France. It's a fair trade liqueur as well.
It's
nice.
Really nice, yeah. To just before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Have a little nightcap.
When did that even happen?
When I said I'm going to go to bed and read the book.
Right.
I took one with me.
Oh, okay. Right. Didn't see that happen at all. So we're going to put 25 ml. So we've got 25 of whiskey.
Did you not smell the coffee when you came into bed?
No, I didn't actually. Actually, you know what? Now you mention it, I thought there was a smell of burning.
No, it was the coffee.
Okay, that makes sense. So 25 of the coffee, 25 of the whiskey, and 20 of the creme de cacao. Now, in the bottom of here, We've got the remains of some Coco Lopez cream of coconut.
You've definitely been spooning that one out of the fridge.
It's not true.
You have. You've been in there spooning.
Cheryl has been accusing me of just eating this straight out of the jar.
I think you would.
I'm putting in 2 bar spoons, which is pretty much all we've got left here. But it's that wonderful cream of coconut that I recommend for the most amazing pina coladas if you're going to make those sort of drinks. But it blends well in so many cocktails. So let me just pop that there.
Don't put water in it, I'll lick the bowl out.
I'm just going to leave that there. Right, then finally, we're going to add our pecan biscotti coffee, our black coffee. And I want to put in 50 ml of that. So I'm going to put 25. And then another 25. There we go. And I think, actually, you know what? I'm going to bring it up to about 60.
You sure?
Yeah. There we go. So nice. 60 ml of that. All right. Now, this is going to be, ordinarily, these sort of drinks tend to go into martini glasses. This time, what I'm going to do is put it into a highball glass over some fresh ice. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit of fresh ice in here. About halfway up. It's going to be fine. Then I'm going to take my shaker.
I'm always these glasses always look so thin. They look.
Yeah, but compared to this,
yeah.
Not so. You guys still talking to us, by the way? Yes, you
I
are.
think they're talking to each other.
John Lutz, can you recask bottled whiskey? Can you do it? Well, why not? Why not? Yeah, I mean, I imagine if it goes back into. I mean, I don't know the answer to this, but why not?
Yeah, but why? Why would you want to do that?
I guess it's a hypothetical question. Unless you're buying whiskey, so if you want to buy a bottle of 10-year-old Macallan, stick it back into a cask and make your own 50-year-old. I don't think it's necessarily going to work like that. But I mean, surely if you take a whiskey, put it back in a cask, it's just going to continue reacting with the wood. So I would imagine the answer is yes. Karen saying great story. Karen, you love that story. Yaznil, is that Yaznil? Yes, love any island malt, and of course a Jura. Spent a week there last summer touring the day. Well, am I jealous or what?
A week.
Yeah, properly jealous. Joe saying it's a blended malt matured in sherry cask by Am I pronouncing this right? Wemyss. Gary.
Welsh? Let me have a look.
Is that Welsh? Joe, I think, is from
Wemyss.
I can't remember. Joe, I seem to remember. Are you from Ireland? I can't remember. If you're not from Ireland and you're from Wales and I've offended you, then sorry. But I seem to remember you're from Ireland, Joe. Gary, pecan biscoff, very sweet. Yes, no, it's not sweet. So this coffee is not sweet.
Wemyss Bay in Scotland.
Oh right, okay. But I think Joe's in Ireland. I seem to remember. Will it age more? I think it will, John. I think it will. I mean, it has to, doesn't it? All right, ice. All the ingredients into our shaker. Let's close it up and give it a shake. All right.
I've just seen how much that is he's drinking.
Well, there you go. All we're going to say about that is that it's not in the under £50 category.
Looks nice. I like the bottle and I like the colour.
All right, here we go. Look at this. This is starting to look actually very nice. So I can smell that combination of flavours. Actually, the pecan biscotti. Actually, the pecan's really coming through now. I think the coconut has helped it to lift.
Why haven't you heard this whiskey before? There's loads here.
Because I am, like all of our Dream Whiskies followers, I am just a student learning through life.
You should know everything.
I should know everything.
You should be
the oracle.
The oracle on whiskies.
Right. Well, I'm the oracle on cocktails, and I'm a fan of whiskey. Loving the bottles. Loving the bottles there. All right.
Am I taking over your show?
Well, you're talking a lot. Is the answer to that?
Is that an issue?
Yeah, always an issue for me. Okay, off you go.
Oh, hang on. I've lost your page.
There we go. Right, so that is cocktail number 2. We call that an Nespresso yourself, which of course.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
Loving that. Can you get the pecan biscotti coming through?
Absolutely. The thing that I don't get is your Coco Lopez.
Oh, you can't get it through there?
I think you've been spooning it.
Right.
We needed at least another.
Right. Oh, I'm liking this. Yaznil Maharg. It's Graham. Just my profile name backwards. Graham Lindsay. Yay. Emailed you today about the competition and previously won a prize last year. Well done, Graham.
I like that.
Oh, I'm loving that as well. Paul, I seem to remember the Wemyss fig being in the prize library at one point. No, don't think we had it there, to be honest, Paul. Unless it was somebody else's prize library, which we have to check that out. So Bruce is saying, so Yaznil is Lindsay then. Yeah, absolutely. Graham Lindsay, loving that. Should we all change our names?
Yes.
Mine doesn't work. Lorp.
Lorp.
That sounds a little bit.
I'm Loresh.
Are you?
Loresh.
Loresh sounds good. I like
Yes.
Loresh. That's nice. Okay, so where are we now? So we've had a couple of stories. We've had a couple of cocktails. Our next story actually...
Knitram.
Loresh
Knitram.
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 That's, and I'm a Knitram as
You're
well.
a Knitram.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I've got one more cocktail for you. I've got one more story for you, and then I've got one from somebody where it's not exactly a story, but it was just a one-liner, and I thought, you know what, I'll share that with you as well.
So is that a phrase?
Yeah, more of a punchline, really.
Punchline.
Yeah, and
Have you
then
tried that one?
no, I haven't actually tried it. Let me try
Go
it.
for it, I'll let you.
Thank you. Oh, that is gorgeous.
You need some more Coco Lopez.
You want for the coconut to come through,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But that is absolutely gorgeous.
Nice one, sunshine.
God, I'm just great.
You're a bit too good with this. You can make money out of this.
Bob is Treeball. Well done. Everyone's going through
I like tree ball.
one that if you use Di Serono and standard Lavazza espresso with a dash of vanilla essence, yeah, that all sounds good, Jonathan. I'm liking that.
I'm sure that I used to call tree balls Roberts when I was a child.
What? So you actually called the sweets backwards?
Yeah, so I used to say, would you like a Robert?
Whereas is pronounced Weems. Weems Bay is a small port town west of Glasgow. Thank you for that. Nossam Luap is Paul Musson. Actually, that sounds like it's come off a piece of parchment somewhere, doesn't it? Like Nostradamus or whatever. Okay. Right, where are we? Conversation piece. So, got this amazing recipe that I want to share for you. It's nothing to do with cocktails, but if you're into doing a bit of cookery around Christmas, thought you would love this, especially as whiskey fans. And it's for whiskey and brown sugar cured salmon. Okay, if you want to do your own cured salmon. So I'm just going to tell you the recipe, but the reason why I put it down there is that I just want to discuss this whole idea of curing things, using whiskey in food, etc. So I'll get onto that with Sheryl in a second. This is the recipe. So you need a large piece of salmon, obviously. You need it in two halves down the middle. And then what you do is you get a mixture of 100 ml of whiskey, your choice, I guess. So if you want it smoky and peaty, stick in an Islay or something like that. 100 grams of soft, light brown sugar. 100 grams of sea salt flakes. So you need a lot of salt because that's what helps it cure. It then says 2 teaspoons or tablespoons of coarsely ground black pepper. So that's a ton of black pepper as well. And then a huge bunch of dill, largely chopped, which is what they tend to use with gravlax, isn't it? Is dill. Yeah. So mix all of that up. You get tin foil. You put one side of salmon down in tin foil. You completely coat the surface in this sort of salty, crusty mixture. Put the other half on top. You wrap the whole thing up. And then you got to put something on top of it to just sort of press it together. They say 2 or 3 days in the refrigerator. You will get liquid out of it, so drain that off every so often. End up with this amazing whiskey and brown sugar cured salmon.
Nice.
So, when it comes to whiskey and food, how do you feel about that? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up, because you just given me a really nice idea, because I know you're looking worried.
Well,
here we go.
okay.
You ready for this, guys? So you know how at Christmas I always do a ham, a boiled ham.
Yes.
And I always do it in like a spicy ginger beer or something, like a couple of litres, and I always boil it for like 3 hours, and then it's just delicious. But then I always make like a ginger marmalade chutney that goes with it. I'm actually thinking and I'm not going to use a whole bottle of whiskey, obviously, and boil it.
Obviously.
But what I could do is I could do like a whiskey, maybe a whiskey ginger chutney or something to go with it. You know, something.
Yeah,
like that.
that sounds good.
Yeah,
that sounds good. I like that.
Yeah.
But we know about that. What about you guys? Do you do anything in terms of using whiskey in food or whiskey in desserts? Do you even like them? I actually find that I don't like whiskey in desserts. I like whiskey in a glass. I probably like whiskey in things.
I'm just wondering whether or not you can make something like a tiramisu. You've just made a tiramisu in a glass, haven't you?
That's true.
So it's coffee, liqueur,
yeah. And the cherries, because you like putting cherries in as well.
No, that's cherry misu.
Yes, yeah. So we'd like spread it over two, haven't we?
Yeah.
Joe, I seem to have started something. Kaz is now called Zach. Kaz Bridges is now Zach Bridges, or is Sid? Yeah.
Oh, that's even more.
Sid Durb. Yeah. I like the Zach though. Where can you get ferry to Rothsay Butte? Cat, love whiskey and honey panna cotta.
Yeah, fudge.
Paul saying whiskey fudge. Actually, you know what?
Ooh,
that's interesting. So I think I think there's a differentiating line for me between whiskey in something like a sweet,
or whiskey cookies or cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like puddings, like soft puddings. Like, I never liked sherry trifle, for example. Whiskey fudge. Yeah. Okay. So if you had to do something, if you were going to say, right, I'm going to put whiskey in a savoury dish, would you make that salmon?
Yeah, definitely make it.
Are you going to make that salmon?
Are you asking me to make it for
I think I am. I think that's what I'm asking. Let us know, right? Let us know what you got, what you do, or do you just not do it? Do all you do is put it in a glass and drink it? Because there is nothing wrong with that. But I just love the idea of that recipe. I thought you guys might want to come up with some interesting bits and pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like the sound of that. That sounds really nice. Something we can do for like Boxing Day.
Yeah. Yeah. Boxing Day.
Boxing Day brunch.
Cured salmon.
Definitely.
Although you don't like the dill, do you? What we got here? Jonathan's saying whiskey and a white sauce on your haggis, neeps and tatties. Or sweet, add sugar on a Christmas pudding. Wow. Oh, like a sweet white sauce. Okay. Paul used to make Christmas cake every year with whiskey, and that makes complete sense.
Yeah,
whiskey and food is just a way of maximising my intake. So it's great. Yeah, loving that. Loving that.
It's part of your 5 a day.
You're 5 whiskies a day. Yeah. You gotta have
whiskey cake.
You gotta have Highland, Lowland, Speyside, Island. Yeah, you're 5 a day. Paul once had Jack Daniels in baked beans, which actually worked, and they called them cowboy beans. Well, you know what, Paul? That one's actually clicked with me. I'm liking that. I'm really liking that. Did the Jack go in after you cooked him? In other words, was it poured into the beans, or did it go into the beans and get nuked or cooked first? Because yeah, you know what I mean. Kaz makes Jack Daniels fudge.
Oh,
Kaz, if you make that.
Can you send some to us, please?
I can tell you, there's definitely going to be interest. You should if you're making it, you should be selling it. Idal's Luap. There's quite a few Pauls I've noticed actually. Idal's Luap. Yeah, I'm liking this. This has actually become a bigger feature of tonight's thing than anything else, I think. Okay, story for you. So not story this time. I do have one more story for you, which will come after the next cocktail. We're going to sort of close out with the last story. But this is Brian Looney, spelled L-U-N-E-Y, as opposed to L-O-O.
So backwards, quick.
What is that? Yellow name. Yeah. It doesn't work with every name, does it? So Brian Looney just said this when I asked people to send in their whiskey-related stories. He says, I sprinkle whiskey on my lawn every year, hoping it will be half cut. I don't know, I just thought that was funny.
Is that a funny joke?
I think it's a joke.
That is a nice one.
It's a good joke?
Yeah, it's a good
Did
one.
anyone laugh at that? Or was it just me?
Just you.
Okay, so I do have a great story coming up. Last one is from Alistair. Just that Alistair didn't put his surname, so sorry, Alistair. Don't know your surname. Couldn't pick it out of your email address, so not quite sure.
Ray's Lassler.
But Alistair, we're going to finish with your story. It's quite a cracker. I love this, and actually really rang a bell with me as a bartender because I've been through stuff like this myself before. Anyway, so we're going to get on to our last cocktail of this evening's broadcast, and I call this a Yuletide Dream, and it's quite a simple one. And again, I think it's got ingredients that you will like and that you will enjoy in it. It's got banana liqueur, which I think you're going to enjoy as well.
Chocolate?
No chocolate, no.
No chocolate? Are we doing chocolate tonight?
No chocolate. Did you want chocolate? Do I normally put chocolate in something?
With banana, yeah.
Yeah.
Chocolate and banana.
Okay. So no chocolate.
You using your Japanese.
Yes. This always makes me think of the 3-card trick. But there we go. So little Japanese shaker. It's not a Japanese shaker. This is a traditional 3-piece shaker. But they've just become synonymous with Japanese bartenders. So the old Boston shaker is used by pretty much everyone apart from, that sort of Central and Far Eastern Asian area. So anyway, that's what I'm going to use this one for. I actually quite like the sound of this as well. So we're going to start with, not the whiskey, but I'm going to start with this. This is my Christmas infused vodka, or it is a Christmas infused vodka that I created specifically for this recipe. Now we've done quite a few infused Christmassy rums and things over the years, haven't we? And one of the ways to do it is to put in loads of fruit like raisins and sultanas and whatever, and then loads of spices, mixed spices and whatever. But this one is some dried cranberries. I'm obviously not in there at the moment, but just a handful of dried cranberries, and then some brown sugar. And I put in mixed spice and a bit of extra cinnamon. So mixed spice will have things like cloves, a bit of nutmeg in there, etc. And then a little bit of cinnamon. I just let it sit for a while, and then I strained it off, and that's what we've got. We've got this lovely Christmassy, festive vodka.
Oh, smells Christmassy.
It's Christmassy, isn't it?
It's really Christmassy.
Says Sheryl. Says here, oh, smells Christmassy, she reads. All right, anyway. Smells really festive, so I'm going to put that together with our whiskey. So, start with our whiskey.
It smells a little bit like that air freshener that I've got. As you walk through the door, they go psh at you.
Just to be clear, right?
It is Christmas in a spray.
The air freshener is not like pine needles or anything like that.
It's Christmas in a spray.
Yeah, it's a spicy...
Yeah, it's nice. It smells like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't it?
That's exactly what it smells like. I'm so pleased that I let you smell it. Right, so 25, 30 ml of whiskey. There we go. Let's put the whiskey in. That's good. Then we're going to add my cranberry Christmas spicy infused vodka. And I want another 30 ml of that, so let's get that in. It's got quite a nice sort of pinky orange colour.
It's got a nice colour. How'd you get that colour?
The colour comes off the cranberries.
Where'd you get the cranberries from?
Well, we always have dried cranberries, dried fruit sitting around doing nothing, waiting for me at Christmas.
Do we?
Yes. Didn't you know that?
No.
You look slightly surprised and slightly perturbed.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disturbed.
Cheryl was sitting there thinking that I might have gone into
my cranberries.
her baking box and stolen her cranberries.
Haven't you?
25 ml of creme de banane. Okay.
Oh, that's really banana-y.
Yes, banana-y.
Banana-y. It smells...
It's banana-y, is it? 25 ml of that. Banana-y, says Sheryl. Excellent. Right, how are you guys doing? Well, I'm just going to take a quick... So, just going with some cookies. Jack Daniel makes a tipsy fudge cake. 3 of us were a bit buzzed at break. Excellent. Paul, I seem to remember them heating the beans on the hob, adding the JD at the start, but not allowing them to boil. All right, so there was still a bit of kick in there as well. That's good. All right, so just to recap, we've got our whiskey, we've got my cranberry and spice infused Christmas vodka. We've also got our creme de banane from Giffard.
Don't forget your banana.
Banana liqueur, as Sheryl has renamed it. And then some lovely cream, because I said that we were going to make a number of creamy cocktails. So we're going to put 25 and then another 15. So it's going to end up with 40ml. There we go, of our cream. Let's pop that down there.
You sure you don't want to put chocolate in?
Absolutely sure.
It's the final chance.
My last opportunity to do
Put
so.
some chocolate in there.
Okay, I'm going to keep the chocolate out, but if you would like to try it with chocolate, as quite clearly Sheryl would, then go ahead and add some chocolate to it, either in the form of a liqueur, or you can grate some in, or you can grate some on the top. There's all sorts of ways of adding chocolate. Or chocolate spread. We often do that, don't we?
Chocolate for Sheryl.
Trust me. Here we go.
Have you got a little tune going on in your body?
Yeah, there was music. I could hear music everywhere. All right, here we go. And I love the colour of this because, I don't know, these white cocktails always make me think of Christmas cocktails. There we are.
Do you know what would make me think even more of Christmas?
Are you going to say chocolate?
Chocolate on the top.
You'll be pleased to know.
It needs chocolate, guys, doesn't it?
There we go. So, could have chocolate on the top. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of mixed spice because this is
Has it got cloves in it?
Has it got cloves in it? Right, you guys can use mixed spice. I won't put that on because Sheryl hates cloves, so I will leave that out. But there we go, a sprinkle of that. Or you could actually put a sprinkle of chocolate on the top. How would that work? There
I
we
want to have some.
go.
Let's try some.
That there. And that is
it smells nice. Smells very banana-y.
But no, that is our Yuletide dream. Liking that?
I like that.
Liking that? The boss likes that one, everybody.
Try it. It's very Christmassy.
It is.
Yeah. It's. Do you know what it tastes like? Right. It tastes like I've gone past the spray, right, and as I've walked past, it's got me.
Yeah.
And it's gone in my mouth.
And you imagine it tastes like that.
Yeah.
But tell them that's a nice thing.
It's a nice taste.
Because it doesn't taste like, it's not a smell of lily of the valley. Right, what we got here?
Nice.
Jonathan, has anyone out there made slow whiskey? I don't think I would use an expensive single malt, but maybe a blended. Well, I've made slow whiskey and all sorts of things before. When I used to work in bars, we used to infuse pretty much every spirit we could with something we could find. And so what I would say is this, is that people often say, if you're going to infuse a spirit, then just buy a cheap one and don't buy a decent one. But actually,
it's like making gravy with cheap wine.
It is. You might as well get a decent one. I'm not saying spend £100 on a whiskey and then stick a load of slows in there and a cup of sugar or anything like that. But don't go for the cheapest you can find. I mean, if you're going to go for a blended, get a reasonable blend. If you're going to go for a single malt, go for a single malt. I think I might have told you all that I was invited out to Cognac some years ago to try and, as part of a delegation of international mixologists. So I was one of a couple of people from the UK. It's people from all over Europe, the United States. There's about 40 of us in all, and we were collaborating on ideas for cognac-based cocktails. But what they really wanted to do was break down this idea that you could only serve cognac in a glass, either in a snifter or a balloon, or on the rocks in a rocks glass, and that you had to revere it. And that actually, if you're going to make cocktails with brandy, you shouldn't use cognac, you should just use a cheap brandy. But actually, they wanted to change that, because if you're going to make a cocktail with brandy, if you're going to make a sidecar, I'd rather have an XO than a 3-star cheap something that sells for a tenner. So don't necessarily go for the inexpensive ones. Get something decent, Jonathan. But yeah, you can definitely make slow whiskey. It's delicious. Bob, cocoa bitters to get a little... Okay.
Have you got that?
Well done, Bob. Thank you very much. Dave is saying definitely chocolate, but Bob,
Yay.
I can respond to that. So I can put a little bit of, these are Aztec chocolate bitters. There we go. Let me show you. This is from, if you use bitters in drinks, you'll probably know this company, but a company called Fee Brothers. They got a really extensive range of bitters. And we'll probably want to give that a little stir in there as well. So you definitely get the chocolate, it's just not sweet, it's obviously.
How much?
Put in a splash or two, I would say.
What's a splash?
There's one.
That's one splash?
Yeah, that's 2.
2 splash?
Try it, and then if you want to put more, you can put more.
3 splash?
Okay?
4.
Okay. There we go. See what you think. Let's see how that goes. Here we go. Yeah. What do you reckon?
I can't taste chocolate.
Can't taste it at all. Let's have a go. Yeah, it's definitely there.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Really? Really? It really is. Okay. While
think
Cheryl wrestles with that.
I'm glad that I put 4 in and not 2.
Are you? Wouldn't it have been chocolatey enough?
Definitely not.
Good idea, Bob. Thanks for that.
Well done, Bob. You know what I like.
I do think by the time we've gone off the air, that bottle will be emptied into that glass, but we'll see how that works.
No, I'm going to get some real chocolate and stir it in.
Are
I've got
you?
some chocolate spread with hazelnut that's going to go in there.
Yeah, and we know that works as
a
well.
famous brand.
We've got the non-famous brand.
We've got we've got the gluten-free, dairy-free version brand.
Right, you lot.
One.
So what I'm going to do is we've done our 3 cocktails. I'm going to read you this last story before I start wrapping up our broadcast and tell you what we've got in line for you over the next couple of weeks. But I love this story, and the reason why I love this story is because as a bartender, and I spent many years as a bartender working in bars, this sort of thing happened to me, so I just loved it. Here we go.
Go for it.
Alistair, this is you. So 1982, Alistair's working in a bar at the Eden Court Theatre in Venice. Surprisingly for a theatre, he says it had an amazing range of whiskies in terms of quantity, ages, strength. His personal favourite was the Balvenie As We Get It, which I don't know, some of you might know. It's on the label. I think it even says Balvenie Glenlivet. But anyway, Balvenie As We Get It. So that was his favourite. Quiet evening, and a pair of older American gentlemen come in, sit at the bar, settle down, get chatting, and explain they're up north because they're exploring the golf courses, they're playing golf and all the rest of it. And then they get round to talking about whiskey. And these 2 American guys seem pretty keen to sample what they say some of the best, and they start to ask for a rundown on style. So Alistair, who says here, didn't know then anything like what he knows now, but he knew enough, so he started talking about the classic Speysides, and the nautical seasides, the smooth Highlanders and the peaty Highlanders. And then, of course, they're so intrigued and they're talking about taste, and so obviously they moved on to Islay. And so they discuss peat and seaweed and medicinal and salt, and in the end they ask which one has the most taste. And Alistair says it has to be our Lefroy 18-year-old. And they say, great. He says, yes, this will stir up the memories and live long in your palate. They say, we'll have 2 large Lefroys.
Ooh.
So Alistair goes to the back of the bar, takes down the Lefroy, almost reverentially, holding the bottle, opens it up, pours these 2 perfect large shots of Lefroy, passes them across the bar to these 2 Americans. To which they say to him, can you top them up with Coke?
No. Oh my goodness.
Wow! Alistair, love that story.
That's
Love that story. The amount of times as a bartender, similar things have happened to me. When you've given it everything, you put your heart into it, you've sold it, you talked about the beauty and the romance and the wonderful thing. They go, yeah, that's great. Can you just drown it out with something? So I love that story. You like that story, guys? Tell us about it. Bruce, what are you talking about down here? Ghirardelli chocolates are all awesome. Hope you can get that across the pond. Don't know, can we? Ghirardelli chocolates?
Not heard of them.
No?
Have a look on Amazon.
I think I knew was there a Formula 1 driver by the name of Ghirardelli? I don't know about that. So look, loads and loads of you sent in stories. I've read out 3 stories plus a one-liner from Brian. I'm just going to give a couple of mentions to some people because I loved your stories as well. So Alex Richards and your missing bottle. There was Rennie Mursky. She was talking about Looney Tunes in a Montana biker bar. Hayden Hewitt, a great story about the twin Lorcairns. Plus he sent me a load of pictures, so thank you for that. Jonathan Smith, you spoke about conning your wife with a fictitious spa, trying to get her to go to Ireland. It's quite funny. I'm not going to ruin the story for you guys.
Don't.
No, I'm just giving you a
little taster.
It's a taster. Shona Mackie, The Missing Port Charlotte. Lorraine Crichton, giving away more than 700 miniatures. Jamie Saunders, his Saudi Scotch story. John Doig's story of meeting Joe Hobbs of the Ben Nevis Distillery. That is a few of them. What I'm going to do over the coming, 17, 18, where are we? No, 22 days leading up to Christmas Eve. I'm going to try and get one new story on our Facebook page, not our website, on our Facebook page, where you're watching this every day. If you like them, vote for them. As simple as that. Come Christmas, the one with the most votes, and you can vote for multiple stories, that's fine, but the one with the most votes will get that book. Not a huge prize, but great book, great read, lots of fun. It's called Whiskey, Wit and Wisdom, full of whiskey-related anecdotes and stories. So anyone who sent it in, I'm sure you're going to love that as well. So brilliant for that. Couple of things to tell you guys about before we sign off. Just to remind you that we will be doing a special pre-Christmas broadcast on Wednesday the 23rd. So
I've got an idea, so before you finish...
Okay, before I finish.
I've got an idea.
Okay.
It's just come to me.
Right. I love those ideas that just come to Sheryl, especially when we're broadcasting, because it's like, right.
It's going to happen.
Who knows?
Right, so Christmas Eve, right, and we can all have a chat about this. You can put in the comments whether or not you think it's a good idea or not a good idea. I have literally just thought of this as we've been chatting, so Paul has no idea what's in my head and what I'm going to say, so if he's looking slightly worried. So Christmas Eve is going to be called Mixers, Mixmas, Mix-Along.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay? So what you will do is you will send out for the 3 cocktails, as you normally do, that you are going to do.
Right.
Okay? Obviously, they have to be festive.
Yeah.
And everybody will mix along with you.
Okay.
But within that, they will change one of the ingredients.
This is complicated. Yeah.
No, it's not. No,
okay.
It's quite simple.
Okay.
You will change a ingredient or make a tweak or do something to it that will slightly change Paul's cocktail, and you will say what you've done to his cocktail and why you did it and how you've improved it and why you've made it better, etc, etc, etc.
Okay, all right, let's try that. We'll try that. Yeah. I'll get that information out before our next broadcast. Give you all time to think. Yeah, what the hell?
Okay, so
it sounds like a bit of fun.
Mixers, mix along.
Mixers, mix along.
Yeah.
Mixer, by the way, is the name of what we do when we're not doing Dream Whiskies.
It's his nickname, basically.
We do everything under Mixer.
Mr. Mixer.
That's it. So
Mr.
Mixers
and Mrs. Mixer.
Mr. and Mrs. Mix.
Mr. and Mrs. Mixer mix along with Christmas.
Anyway, that sounds good. So I'll put that information out. Just to remember, we will do the voting on the website. That will be great. What we got here? Comments. Oh, this is what happened when I told the story about the Coke. Kaz is saying no. Cat Jam, just a very... I don't even know what that emoji is, but it doesn't look happy at all. Jonathan Smith, Coke in a Lefroy, oh my goodness. Alistair, brilliant, says Gary.
Oh.
Paul, add Coke, confirms my worst fears. Bruce, 1826, the Macallan Fine and Rare, and Coke. Yes. So mix a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. Brilliant. Okay. What's this, Kaz? You don't want to be drunk to say yes. Well, I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure. So... a couple of things to let you know about that I just want to take this opportunity before we sign off. One is that I put out, and I do this with you guys all the time really, but I put out a request some months ago about people who would be interested in actually doing live tastings. In other words, live tastings where we do a broadcast. It won't be part of the Facebook Live one. We would set a specific time for it. I would send out whiskey miniatures to those who want to do it. There'll be a cost, as you all know, and then we can do a proper sort of whiskey tasting all together.
How are you going to do that for the Americans, though?
The trouble is, thank you very much, we can't get the whiskey, those miniatures, over to America. I'm really sorry. We could source them in America and get to you, but it starts to become so ridiculously expensive for you. So I'm really sorry. It doesn't mean that you can't join us for the experience. It just means that the cost of doing it is completely prohibitive. Unfortunately, American customs, they just do not want to allow alcohol into the country, and you know, when Americans win prizes in our competition, that in itself is not an issue, because I actually source them in America and get them shipped to you in America. But to get these miniatures sent over to you is a bit of a nightmare, and so I'm really sorry about that, but I can't find a way around that. If we work out a way around it, we will. But at the moment,
well, unless you just say what whiskey you're doing,
of course we can do that.
If you want to go out and buy it yourself, then that's fine.
Of course. I mean, that's an option. But nevertheless, I am going to start bringing that to life. Is my point. It's been months since I asked you about it, but we've got our game into place, and come January, we're probably going to be looking to get that off the ground. So I just want to let you know about that. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is this, that it seems like it's been going on for ages, and it has, but our Christmas run-in for this bottle of Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix, which I will just, that's the end of the elf. Let me just show you that this is not just an empty box, but there is this gorgeous bottle of Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix. Competition is still up and running. We are now in the countdown phase, so we are going to be picking our winner of this competition in less than 3 weeks. In fact, 18 days. We're going to be picking, that's the 20th. And the idea is that if you live in the UK, then we want to get this to you before Christmas. If you live in the US and you win, and by the way, if you win in the US, we will get this out to you. You probably won't get it until the new year, to be honest, if you're an American winner. But and by the way, if you're in other countries around Europe, somewhere between Christmas and New Year, I imagine. But it's still going. The link is in the description. I know many of you have entered multiple times, so I wish you all the best of luck. Obviously, there can only be one winner of this. There are, however, 2 runners-up prizes because the competition has been popular. So we're giving 2 runners-up prizes of bottles of Glenfiddich 18-year-old. So if you don't win this, you still got 2 chances of winning some whiskey. But remember, just 50p a go to enter. So head over to the site, the link is in the description, check it out, get yourself in the game. That's if you're not already in the game, or if you are, get some more votes in. So what else have we got here? Jonathan, could you send the cokes to the Americans? Jonathan, very funny. Bruce has said elf abuse.
I don't like elf.
Yeah, that
we don't do elves in this.
Elf is lying on the bar floor in a puddle of Johnny Walker Red Label. No. So he's okay. All right, so look, we are done for this evening. Been great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed the chat. Hope you've enjoyed the banter. Hope you like the ideas. Remember, check out the Facebook page over the coming 3 weeks, because I'm going to get all the stories on there. Also, I will be doing what Sheryl says. I'll give you at least a week's advance notice of those cocktail recipes that I'm going to do on our Wednesday the 23rd broadcast. So if you want to get yourself ready, please mix along with me. We used to do that in the summer, but it kind of tailed off. But if you want to get involved, mix along with me. If you want to make a change to what I'm doing, go for it. We'll chat about it. Sounds great. Loving all of that sort of thing. But until then, from now until then, look after yourself. Stay safe. Stay well. And we will see you on the 23rd in time for Christmas. Be good.